And we are back for this final section of the stream. We have 2 more games to go, starting off with Finbar against Malfunction. We saw both playing already. We just saw Finbar losing against Captain, but obviously a very strong opponent. And we also saw Malfunction earlier losing both her games. We only saw one of them, but both of them coming up from a loss. But what can we expect to Lotus? Analyze the matchup for me.
Yeah, a very important match, especially you don't even need to look into the future. Just for today, Malfunction, I think she really wants to go out with a win today after she couldn't get it through 2 times. Now facing Finbar, whereas on the other side, Finbar is in this competition on the top 10, where you also want to push through to the top. So I think they both are really locked in on this one. Finbar with a 67% win rate, 59% precision, and an average guess time of 38 seconds here.
Yeah, the numbers will definitely be in favor of Finbar. He has been phenomenal so far in this league. Definitely outside of like the top 4 players like RC, Blanky Consus, and MK. He's kind of like a contender to be like 5th place or 6th place together with Captain. I feel like the numbers are definitely there, and as we can see right now, he will be the favorite coming into this matchup. But it's GeoGuessr. Everything can happen, really. As we see the standings.
We have those adventures I was talking about earlier for Malfunction, where she wants to maybe face players who take their time on their guesses, and Finbar is one of those. He's getting close to those 40 seconds with 38 seconds guessing time. Maybe that could be an advantage for Malfunction here, if Finbar will take his time on the rounds on this match. And we are right in it, in South Africa.
And not even a second into the game, Malfunction saw a phone code, instantly knew, okay, I'm going East London. Okay.
Well, we have Finbar also along the coast.
And that's the Malfunction really I know.
What Malfunction needs here, maybe giving her a bit more confidence. Getting that town this quick, putting that pressure on early. As we move on to this round, which seems to be the Canada maximum.
That was a maximum sign, I think. Yes.
We also have a single yellow line, which both checks out for Canada. To me, it looks like Ontario, but we have French, so it could be like close to Ontario, maybe.
Yeah, definitely feels very west in Quebec, if it is Quebec. Like, I kind of like the border with the US, of course, I mean.
Yes.
Interesting.
I mean, that area is pretty hard to region guess. It looks very diverse, the southern part.
Yeah, you have some very straight field roads where it's just like a grid, and then you also have these like a bit more mountainous regions towards the US border as well, so not the easiest.
Everything to be seen there, and we are in South Australia with those Stobie poles. The mix of concrete and metal on these poles is almost specific to South Australia.
Pretty much, yes. And both of them
we
finding
have a city
something.
There. Does it say button?
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing. Does it just say button?
Quality is a bit bad, but
maybe just this
that
button.
could be a town name. We have some wineries here, which you see a lot around Adelaide.
And he found a town name. It's called Waikare something. And yes. I mean, with wine, you definitely have to check like Renmark and stuff. That's kind of the wine growing region.
Also a region where you see it a lot, definitely.
And
it is on
looking at it.
Malfunction's screen, but I don't think she had that information that we actually are in Valkyrie. And therefore, Finbar strikes back here. And with the 2 times multi, that's also 1k damage being dealt.
Yeah, so far, both of the players showing that they can, you know, find town names at least. Now we go into a round which will be very minimal points. We do have an Israel round, and those rounds usually just end up in a few hundred points, if even.
Yes, definitely. It should be the northern half. With how urbanized, mountainous, dry it is. I like somewhere around Jerusalem makes sense to me. Maybe even north of it.
Yeah, I feel like you get this kind of
Bank.
this kind of hilliness, like either near Jerusalem or very far north near Nazareth.
I think we have the West Bank follow car there, right?
Really?
Malfunction is fast moving, but it looks like it to me in the blurs. I think it is. I think she is very close. I would guess exactly where Malfunction's pin is right now.
Well, she's almost trying to switch here. Finbar eyeing another town, but both of them close to Jerusalem.
Well, I would have lost a lot of points there for Israel standards, which is only 368, but...
Well, for Israel, that's a lot of points, has to be said.
Yeah, for Israel standards, it is a good amount of points as we go over to this round, which
Another
looks
Australia
like
round.
Victoria in Australia with those poles.
And Malfunction instantly zooming onto the coastal parts. I don't know what she saw, but seems like the...
Maybe it's the grid.
And Finbar with a road number. Very good information. They are ordered.
Yes, and also with a C road. Should really only be looking around there in Victoria with how it looks.
But seems like so far Finbar not finding the road as of right now. But it seems like Malfunction has the same sign, I just realized.
Yes. Malfunction is scanning pretty east, which I don't like with how flat it is. I feel like it should be more towards either the north or the western side of Victoria. Or we don't see the mountains. That's
we
also
might
possible.
just not see them both in very similar area now.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a bit more towards the flatter part. But nothing really happening there.
Yeah, half the rounds done and already, and pretty much health, pretty much
Pretty
even.
sure Finbar knows this. Yes, he does.
The
Well, you got the
instant-
coaching, right?
The Gelotrus coaching in Turkey, you have the red soil with these trees. Sanliurfa, Gaziantep,
Yeah,
Kilis,
more towards... Yep, it is also possible.
and Malfunction also there.
But how the road looks, he should be between Gaziantep and Sanliurfa. He committed pretty far north. Probably because of the terrain. It got a bit more mountainous. The further south you go, the more flat it gets. But
Unless you're in
a good
Kilis.
guess from both.
Kilis pretty hilly as well. That's usually how you get it.
Yeah, yeah. The further south you go, the more mountains come up again.
And wow, another Australia, really Australia heavy seed.
Indeed. Is it
Murray Sunset National Park. Is that a knowable park?
With this road angle, I thought we are on this border road between Western Australia and South Australia, maybe, as a possibility. Maybe there's too much going on this road, though, to be there.
Yeah.
And,
but we do have the
guess down
exposed
from
car, so
Finbar.
I feel like we should be somewhere in Vic.
I didn't even pay attention to that. You have that car in a couple places, though. But it was that span on the province border between Victoria and South Australia.
Damn, and there was the Welcome to South Australia sign as a POI visible.
Took them a little bit of more fast moving to get there, maybe.
Yeah,
With a little bit, I mean, it would have still been
a
a good chunk of kilometers in Australia.
And we are getting rounds that are pretty easy.
Iceland.
So now it almost becomes, okay, you need to make good guesses now because there's not that many rounds left.
No.
And we have
But
two
still, you
completely
can
different guesses.
get a lot of points in Iceland because
I really
what
like
we have? We
Finbar's
have
guess,
mountains and a body of water, which you see pretty much everywhere in
but
Iceland.
it looks eastern to me.
Therefore, yeah, the water goes towards the southeast. I guess that makes more sense in the east.
And
is
Finbar is right on it. That will be
5K.
enough. Wow.
Yes. Yeah, Iceland definitely got way harder to region guess ever since the new coverage came out. A lot of regions look very similar. But
Yeah,
yeah,
Have to relearn everything again. Usually Gen 3 was pretty much solved in the country, but now you also have to learn all the Gen 4 and all the new roads that were added. A lot of new stuff in the middle of the country that usually didn't have a lot of coverage, but now looks like the moon.
Yep,
So
pretty much. To agree. And we go over to the no-move game, which I think is Finbar's favorite mode, right? He doesn't like NMPZ too much, and he's not really a moving player. I think no-move is really where Finbar has the biggest chance to win.
yeah, I feel like it's a mode where he's very consistent, doesn't make a lot of mistakes. I mean, a lot of these players don't make a lot of mistakes, but he's very just consistently making good guesses.
Yes. I think Finbar is also someone who likes to learn a lot car metas, different antennas in countries, and that's something you can pay more attention to in a no-move mode.
No, also copyright, not always visible in the NPZ, and in no move you're basically guaranteed to have one. Also something that suits him probably. Definitely spends some time on the map making app.
That is true, and would you look at that, we have that little, it's not a rift, but it's like this smudge in the air which you see in Kocaeli province.
Of course. I mean, who doesn't know Kocaeli stick in the car? Yeah,
It
obviously.
should be north of Izmit somewhere.
Does Finbar know that though? I feel like my instant guess would have been Sakarya.
Yeah, it's also like it's spilling over to Sakarya. It's
Okay.
if I would guess between Izmit and Sakarya in the north.
And guess where Finbar is? Seems like the coaching is paying off.
Yes.
But
Should maybe offer it on Fiverr or something.
Yeah, I mean, the Generation 2 is coming soon.
No, he's fumbling.
No!
Going to
Jeezer.
Europe. No, Malfunction is definitely closer here then.
Oh, switch back a bit further to the east at least. Not the end of the world at least.
This is north of Izmit, indeed, in Sakarya. In Kocaeli province.
Close.
It is close.
Yeah, can't wait
Still
for
decent
the
guesses.
pickup era of Turkey with all the new pickup coverage added to Turkey. A lot of new stuff you have to learn. And especially because on the car you can always see the most random smudges, and learning all those is possible, but I don't know how
Who would do
realistic
that?
it is. Who would ever do that?
Who would ever learn that?
Nobody, right?
And we are in Peru. We have a railway. Maybe they know it, the railway, but it does indeed look pretty far south with how flat and dry it is. Other flat dry areas are in the northwest of Peru, but it looks a bit different.
Yeah.
You don't
There's
really
a
have
similar
those
area near
bushes
Junin that
there.
looks like this, but... Oh!
And that's a 5K from Finbar. I don't even know if the railway showed up,
I
but
mean,
he is right on it.
he is just right on it. Not much to say there.
No, because at the time when I was looking at the screen when he was scanning, I didn't see a railway, but I don't know if he switched maybe.
I mean, Finbar can definitely not be underestimated in his scanning capabilities. I mean, we all know Function is good at it, but so far Finbar has been the player who really lines up the roads here.
Definitely, definitely. And we are in the Nordics. We have some bollards here, which look like the Swedish bollards.
We also have road lines, just short dashes.
Okay. It's in between them, Malfunction a little bit closer as we go to round 5.
Again, it looks pretty even so far. Just, you know, maybe a slight lead for Finbar, but the game will definitely be decided on the bigger multiplier rounds.
Definitely, but this is also a country where we have seen a lot of points being gained or lost. It is Nigeria. This follow car. I don't know if you get any state given on this location. There is some text, but not really readable for me. However, without that, I want to say it's quite difficult to get a region guess down here.
Yeah, I mean, Finbar scanned and then instantly clicked in Makurdi, so I wonder if he saw anything confirming that. And it seems like Malfunction is also there, so there was definitely something written, I feel like.
Probably.
Maybe the state name and they just clicked the biggest city because it looked like a big city.
possible.
That's possible.
Well, the sign was also designed in a way where I assumed that there is a state given on it. It looks It looked like one of those signs that get hung up when there's an construction going.
And now the question is, who learned or who still knows every single park in
Yeah. Kenya
Kenya.
should be with this car, and it looks like South Africa. Not South Africa, it looks like Africa.
It is in Africa, but maybe not south. Middle-ish.
Middle counts more, Middle East. But yeah, a lot of parks are covered with this car in Kenya.
There are slight
so
differences,
now
but
they are trying to line it up. There are some differences, sure, you could learn that.
yeah, some have a rope attached to the like the rails on the Google car. Some don't. Some have a different color, but
Yeah. In this case, for example, you don't see the Kenya snorkel, but it is Kenya. So don't always look for the snorkel.
it's true.
It can also just not be there.
And both
They are
finding this
indeed
ridge.
getting the ridge.
Almost in Tanzania there.
It's pretty good mapped on the zoom level. The ridge, I want to say. Makes it a bit easier for them. And now we are in Brazil. We don't have any supports on the power poles, which you commonly found more in the northeast. And with how dry it is, I think that's really confirming it that we are indeed in the northeast. But still a pretty big area of possibilities.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't know whether I want to go Bahia or like Sierra Hills in the south. Like Pernambuco,
Yeah.
like, yeah, I quite like Finbar's guess. It's either there or Bahia for me. And the hills look quite dry, so maybe I definitely go more northeast towards that. And it seems like Malfunction is also going exactly where I'm saying, that kind of tri-point border.
Yep, that covers a lot. I like the Pernambuco guess a lot. Just right outside. What is the east of Pernambuco, Alagoas?
Or Sergipe,
So,
I don't know. Don't have the exact...
probably Alagoas. And we are in Asia with... I was thinking first with the rice fields. Couple green roofs. Which you also see from time to time. We have a transformer on the pole, which makes me not think of Indonesia or Malaysia. We have octagonal poles, so it should be Philippines then.
Yeah, I think especially the lamp with the concrete bottom is also a very common thing in the Philippines. I quite like the northern guess, but it could always be weird south, or it's just Mindoro, okay.
Interesting. Well,
Big chunk
wow,
here.
that is good damage for Malfunction there.
Very risky guess there by
Pretty odd.
Finbar.
Yep. Well, maybe he had something to rule out Luzon, and then you just think of the south with how big the valley was. Maybe that was his thought process there. I don't know, but this looks like Ecuador to me.
Yeah. And how the road looks in the vegetation, I usually just click Santo Domingo on these locations. Because it doesn't feel east of Andes, but Finbar is east of Andes, and...
Yeah, I like the
Hey,
coca, I guess.
Malfunction is in Colo. Didn't she not see the sign back? This could be a big... Wait, she locked in.
Oh,
Oh, this will be big points. Finbar could win the game here.
could if he's
She's not
on
too far
it.
away,
I don't know
but-
where she guessed in Colombia.
And
But it was
that's as good
only
as it can go.
1.1k. Yeah, definitely.
As I said,
Pretty
Santo
far
Domingo,
away.
underrated hedge if it's western. And it did not
Yeah, I was
seem
surprised.
east.
I was surprised, but now we should be in Colombia. We have the
Ooh, the Antioquia
pole
paint.
paint. Yeah.
And it just looks like hilly, so you just click Medellin.
Yep. So for the viewers, that pole paint right there with the small black section, big yellow section, and small black section again is something you've seen on. How do you pronounce it?
Antioquia?
Antwi-
I don't know.
Antioquia.
I have no idea. It's probably
Kind of
different in
problems with
Spanish.
pronouncing that. But where Medellin is in, pretty much.
What?
Okay.
Okay.
If you know that, you just line it up.
I mean,
So
I was about to say maybe
Actually-
undeserved win after that Colo guess on Ecuador because it was quite an easy Ecuador with the back of the sign. But I mean, maybe she redeemed herself with that guess, getting the right town there in Antioquia.
yeah,
Well
definitely
played, but-
very impressive guess.
Finbar could have definitely won if he goes west of Andes there on the Ecuador location, big mistake made, and no punish there.
Yeah, they maybe both fumbled it. Let's say it like that.
True.
One fumbled the country, one fumbled region guess. And we move over to NMPC. I do like the Thailand guess.
Yep, same.
By default, those concrete fences there, with the wires in between them, the vegetation, the dryness, the flatness, everything screams Thailand. And it is between Surin and Sisaket there, east in Thailand.
Yeah,
They're both also getting a fairly good region guess down there.
yeah, I feel like if you have very dryish, flat, usually you consider always east. Now this, on the other hand, what are we looking at here? I mean, I want to say this looks like...
could be the US.
Looks like the US,
with
just with
how
the
wide
pavement.
the road is. Yes, and the pavement. But at the same time, I am not sure about which state this could be, and if it's even the US.
I thought maybe like coastal New Jersey or Delaware. I don't know.
Could see that. It looks kind of flat, forested.
I mean, me
I feel
being
like
from
the
Delaware, I don't know. Kind of hard to
Yeah.
not think about Delaware here.
Because in the Midlands, you shouldn't get those forests. And then in the Midwest, you have more mountains. So therefore, I think it should be somewhere east. With how flat and forested it is. Yeah. See, that should be mountainous there.
Yeah, I
between
guess.
Pennsylvania and West Virginia. So really hard to get that one. But, I mean, Finbar is in Pennsylvania with his plunk.
And maybe if you turned around in a location, you would have seen a poster sticker on the tree confirming it, pretty much.
But would you look at that? We have a Deutschland location.
Deutschland location. Deutschland mentioned.
Deutschland mentioned.
Well, I can't read whatever it says on these poles, and I
No,
don't see a single
I don't
house.
either, and there's also nothing to work with here. We don't have any architecture. We don't... I mean, it looks a bit hilly in the distance, so maybe a bit more south, southwest, or east.
I don't know.
That's about it. And it's Hannover.
Yeah, just
Do
Hannover.
you count that as Hannover?
I mean, it's like Göttingen
That's
or
also
something.
an area where nothing's going on.
I mean, yeah, I've been to Göttingen and it's kind of a random place. Not sure. They just placed a city there. I'm like, yep.
Yep, and we have a Canaries.
I'm between Canaries and East Coast as well, like north of Valencia.
I was not in Canaries at all.
I was Valencia, like north of Valencia, kind of coastal-ish,
Yes.
coastal-ish east. Definitely will see the game here regardless.
Is this
I mean,
actually Canaries?
it could be, but
How? It is.
it is.
Wow, that is an impressive guess.
And an insta guess as well. I mean, he spent like
a
5
pine
seconds.
forest in... Yeah,